No, okay, so I gotta get back to home because I decided that I wanted to get some levels for my sword and my tools. Decided to get a little too lost in the sauce and got a lot of quartz, so. Oh shit! Hold on, bitch, 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 and bitch. Got his ass. First time doing that too. Hello. Alrighty, I didn't do any work out here though, so we'll probably do something while I'm yapping about a very big topic that I was thinking about, that I was gonna make a video on, but I didn't like the audio recording of it, so. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay, we have a silk touch and we have a fortune one. Let me get a diamond next. Efficiency 3. These are awful enchants, dog. What the hell? Alright, diamond shovel, last one. This is the last of my diamonds. Okay, fucking, I guess, fine. There was a book that I had read back in 2022, maybe 2021. It was whenever I graduated from high school, and it was one of my first, like, books that I had ever read. And, man, the book was called The Way, the Superior Man. And it's maybe for some people that sounds like a corny book title, but it is probably one of the most significant books that I've ever read, like for me personally. And I have the book next to me right now, and there's a very specific chapter that hit a little too hard at that time, as I was turning 18, and I had quite a lot of problems as an 18-year-old kid, as you do, personally. So the chapter is called Live As If Your Father Were Dead. That is probably the heaviest title to a chapter that I had read at that time. There's a couple more that I've like listened to and read, a couple books that I've read with chapters that are crazier, but when you're 18 and you're going through the problems that maybe most kids have like dealt with, it's pretty difficult to think that you're reading a book and a chapter pops up telling you that you should live as if your father was dead, and it goes into further detail. I have a photo of it up and you guys can read it too. It starts with, right underneath the chapter number, it says, "A man must love his father and yet be free of his father's expectations and criticisms in order to be a free man." Now, just like thinking of being like what age I was when I first heard that, I mean, man, crazy to think that like that chapter set off a certain kind of action, a different type of like mentality that I had after reading this book, but specifically that chapter, because I really took into like consideration of like what I was, essentially why I was like, what actions I was doing like every day. Like why did I care about certain things? Why did I care about this? Did I really think about this like thoroughly? Did I want this instead of this? And it was all kind of came down to like, did I really want to do most of these things, or did I really just do them for the sake of pleasing my parents, but morely my father? And I just believe that there are so many. Oh, there's a random hole that I digged. I just believe that there's just a lot of like children, a lot of kids, a lot of like of my friends, a lot of people that I've met throughout the years where they live just only off of their parents. Not like off of their parents, of course. Like they basically like live off of everything that their parents do. Like they do everything for them. They live off of like what their parents would like do for them. In a way, I don't know what to do here. Hold on. Let me think. Let me get some horses here. I'm finna make this a horse stable. The trees are now finished. Let's see what we got. Let's go find some horses. Peter, the horse is here. So after that it says, "Imagine that your father has died, or remember when he did die. Are there any feelings of relief associated with his death? Now that he is dead, is there any part of you happy that you did not have to live up to his expectations or suffer his criticisms?" That shit is crazy. Like, for some like people, for some kids, they most likely have to go through that mental battle of like thinking of their father as being like, okay, he's not here anymore. He can't say things to affect me. He can't put expectations on me. I can do and be freely who I want and do what I want. Of course, not being gay. That's not what I'm talking about. But instead of going to go do baseball like how he's always wanted to do, you can go do basketball and not have to deal with him constantly being on your ass about it. Instead of you know, going to a normal corporate 9-to-5 job, you take some time and you figure out and you want to try YouTube. Ooh, a horsey! This motherfucker better be not slow as shit. How in the fuck do you tame a horse? Okay, we're gonna figure this shit out. Like, I don't even know how many people I've probably have known in my life that you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, my parents are wanting me to go to university. And it's like, do you want to go to university? No, I don't even like what I'm doing right now. Like, so you're not gonna go to university, right? Well, my dad and my mom say they want me to. And it's like, but they say I'm gonna get a good... Bro, no. Get the fuck out of here. Are you gonna do track this year? No, my mom wants me to stay and focus on something. Man, fuck that. Like, hell, what are you doing? No, you don't just start doing random bullshit because your parents said that you have to, right? You don't just do whatever because your parents are the ones forcing. Of course, when you're a child and you don't know any concept of the world and you're just literally fighting for your life, doing whatever you can. Of course, right? That makes sense. Listen to your parents. But when you're a full-grown adult, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, and you're losing time to figure out what you want to do within your life, and you're constantly just sitting there wondering what your parents are going to think about, you can't deal with that all the time, and you're going to end up not doing anything that you want to do, and you're going to be unhappy by this dread of constantly trying to think of what your parents are going to like and don't like, because your parents are grown up in a certain way that you go to college, you do this, you come back, and that's it. That's life. There we go. No, let me on you. Let me on you. Let me on you. Let me on you. There we go. Look at that. Now I can put a saddle on him, and then now we're good. The chapter continues after that. It says, how would you have lived your life differently if you had never tried to please your father? If you'd never tried to show your father that you were worthy, if you never felt the burden by your father's critical eye. So for most people, it might be their fathers, but for most people, it might be their mothers. You know, it's very normal. Of course, it's very normal now for the mother, right, to be here. It's normal for the father to like be the bumbling idiot, like TV shows like say, the one that like he doesn't care. He's just, you know, sitting around being an idiot, not doing anything. People depict how fathers are now than they like were before, right? So for some people it might be their mother, but just think about any, like, whatever parent that you believed is constantly on the criticism side of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and expectations are going through the roof every single year, and you're 18, now you're 19, and now what are you doing? You have to do this, you have to do this, and it's constantly climbing up an uphill battle with rocks getting thrown at you, and you just have to sit around and just deal with that. If you were to live as if your father were dead, would you feel happy for the concept of not having to live up to any expectation he has on you or he would have had on you? Now you're more free, because you got to think about how many kids absolutely sit around every single day and they're going to college and they're doing this job that they don't like, and then they're spending their money on this, and they're spending all their time and waking hours on this for something that their parents are the ones that wanted them to do the most. Like, they don't want to do it. They dreadfully hate it. But when they come to their parents, or they're scared to come to the parents and say, hey, I'm not doing this anymore, I want to do this, I want to do X, Y, Z, those kids are scared shitless because they don't want that feeling anymore. They don't want that argument. They don't want that conversation. So then it goes into the last paragraph of the chapter, and it says, for the next 3 days, do at least one activity that you have avoided or suppressed because the influence of your father or mother, whatever parent is the problem here. In this way, practice being free of a subtle expectation. So essentially, do something that you think that he's not gonna like, that he's gonna disapprove of. Do it small, do one thing, which may now reside within your own self-judgment. And then it says, practice being free in this way once each day for 3 days, even if you feel fearful, limited, unworthy, or burdened by your father's expectations. And then it ends. So it's essentially telling you and saying, do something that you believe you want to do, right? If you want to go out and take photos for a photo shoot, and you've never done it before because your father said this, or your father doesn't like this, go do it. If you want to go out and if you want to go make a content, if you want to go, don't dance in public. Don't be TikToker, please. That's not what I'm saying. But if you wanted to go try boxing and your mother says that it's too dangerous, like you're gonna get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt, my baby boy. I don't want to get hurt. Go do boxing. Go try it out. Right? Who cares about the critical eye? Who cares about what they're doing? If you want to go to the gym and your dad and your parents are saying that that's stupid and that's gay, like don't do that. Like you're gonna get yourself hurt. There's no reason you have to. Go do it. If you want to go to school for this topic and this thing, of course that's a big thing and big change that you can do later on. But go do it. Go figure it out. Maybe even hide it. Like some people most likely have to hide this shit also. And you have to think about that too. Who you are, you're not who you are because of your parents. You are who you are because of actions that you decide that you want to do. And it's on some like stupid corny shit. It's literally like you're breaking free from overwhelming expectations that your parents are going to put on you as a child, all the way until you're a teenager, all the way until you're a young adult, all the way you're going to carry this absolute burden around of constantly thinking, even when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, of what is my dad gonna think? What is my mom gonna think? And these people, they don't care about what you're doing. They just want to see you be successful, but they're only gonna tell you how to be successful in a way that they know how to do it. They know how to be successful from getting a diploma, which obviously everyone should do, Alvin, and going to college for a job, for something that they might like later on, going to college for many years, then hoping to get a job that's going to pay you $50,000 to $75,000 a year starting. Hopefully starting. If not, then you have to take years of your life to catch up, just to then start making decent money. Ooh, I need you actually. Are you holding anything I need? Bitch. What did he just drop? Oh, emeralds, okay. My horse is still here. I actually might even need to leave. This dude's kind of retarded. Yeah, he's kind of retarded. So yes, absolutely think about everything that your parents are telling you and saying to you, and just take in mind that these people, they only know the way that they themselves have been able to make money, be happy, be successful. And if you're the same age as me, your parents are probably 40, 50 years old, and they were born in the 70s or the 60s or maybe 80s. And the way of living life back then was you get a nice job and they pay you 15 nickels, and that can buy you a 15 bedroom house by 3 years of work, and now you have your life. But I mean, times are completely different now. You can't just find a job, hopefully, and they pay you enough money to afford an absolute luxury of a house and a good life and a good amount of food and all that stuff. You have to think about that these people are only telling you ways that they themselves have been somewhat, if you can say, successful in their field or in the works that they have. Living as if your father were dead is such a crazy thing to think about, but if you really look at the chapter, it's not telling you to disrespect your father. It's not telling you to disrespect these people or your family or your parents. It's enticing people, and it's enticing you, enticed me to live more freely without having or wanting anyone's opinion or caring about anyone's opinion. Caring about anyone's opinion on what you do. And people will end up, of course, having that opinion of you, but you have to just learn to take it on the chin and keep moving on.